Hey guys, this is Shubham. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about systemic lupus erythematosus, abbreviated as SLE. SLE is basically an autoimmune disease. It is a systemic autoimmune disease which presents with rashes. Okay, so it presents with rash, joint pain. Okay, joints pain, which kind of rashes, how it is involving the joint pain, and it is also presented with fever and all these kind of symptoms, right? How it is presenting, I will be talking about that in clinical features section. Okay, so just now let me talk about some of the overview point for the SLE. So SLE basically it is an autoimmune disease. Okay, and basically what happens is multiple organs are involved in SLE. Okay, which multiple organs I'm talking about, I will be talking about that in the clinical feature section again. Okay, let me give you a hint over here only. For example, brain can be involved, kidneys can be involved, skin can be involved, hematological system can be involved, and various other systems can be involved over here. Okay, next thing, it is most common in female. Okay, it is most common in females as compared to males. Okay, for an example, if you talk about the ratio between the females and the male, so the ratio is like this, that in females is to males ratio, right? It will be around 9:1. Okay, so that's used, so you can see how common is it in female. Okay, next, what happens in this one, as I said that multiple organs are involved over here. What happens is that there is a formation of autoantibodies. Okay, and autoantibodies is actually precipitating the immune complex formation. Okay, immune complex formation in multiple organs, for example in kidney, brain. So these autoantibodies, actually we should know the name of these antibodies as well. I will be talking about that in the diagnosis section, but what I'm trying to say is that these autoantibodies, they actually, that's why we are saying that this is an autoimmune disease. Okay, so it is damaging our internal visceral organs. So autoantibodies precipitating the immune complex in multiple organs. Okay, and they are causing the damages. Okay, so as I'm talking about the immune complex formation is involved over here, so this is an example of type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Okay, so this is an example of type 3 hypersensitivity reaction. Fine. Okay, now let me talk about the clinical feature section, and there the things will be clear much more. Okay, so now let's move on to the clinical feature section. If you talk about the clinical features, I will recommend you to please remember the mnemonic. Okay, and this mnemonic actually goes like this, so please remember this mnemonic. This mnemonic is MD SOSP brain. Okay, MD SOSP brain. Okay, so according to this mnemonic, we will be talking about the problems which will be happening in the SLE. Okay, so starting with the very first one, that is M, right? Okay, so starting with the first one, that is M. What is M? M is actually malar rash, which is actually appreciated in the SLE. Malar rash is also called as butterfly rash. I'll be showing you the image of these rashes. Okay, so this is the malar rash or butterfly rash. Okay, if you talk about the image of this one, malar rash. Okay, and one more thing, it actually avoids. Okay, so please remember, that is very, very important. It actually avoids the nasolabial folds. What are nasolabial folds? Now I will explain you in a bit. Nasolabial folds. Okay, so let me show you the image over here so that it will make much more sense for you, that what I'm talking about exactly. Okay, so look at this image, that is the malar rash. Okay, so if I will see over here, you can easily appreciate that this rash is actually, okay, kind of a butterfly rash. If I will highlight this, it will be looking like that. Okay, so this is the butterfly rash. Okay, and one more thing, which you can see, that these are the nasolabial folds. Okay, these are the nasolabial folds which you can see over here, and in this picture you can see nasolabial folds are not involved, or I can say that nasolabial folds are spared actually. Okay, that is the most important sign which is seen in SLE. Okay, because nasolabial folds can be involved in other kind of disease. Okay, for an example, sarcoidosis, right? But in this one, nasolabial folds are spared, so please remember that thing. Okay, so this is actually called as what? Butterfly rash. Okay, so this is the butterfly rash over here. So MD SOS brain, M is malar rash. Let's talk about the next one, that is D. Okay, and D over here is, so second, right? That is D. And what is D? D for discoid rash. Okay, now what is discoid rash? I will be showing you the image again. Okay, in the discoid rash, what actually happens is there's a problem in the sweat glands or the salivary glands. Okay, so where is the problem? Basically the problem basically comes in the, okay, so where's the problem? Problem actually, there's a damaging of of salivary glands or the sebaceous glands. Okay, salivary glands or the sebaceous glands. Okay, now if there will be damage, let me show you the image over here once again. So this is the image which you can see on the screen. Okay, this is the image of discoid rash. Okay, and over here you can see this one. Okay, this one is what? This is the discoid rash, or this one you can see, this is the discoid rash. Okay, so there's a damaging of the sebaceous gland over here. Fine, so this is the image for the discoid rash. Now third component is MD, third component is S. MD SOS brain, third component is S. So let's see what is this third component, that is S. Okay, so S for serositis. Okay, as for serositis, what do you mean by serositis? Serositis is actually it is containing the two components, I will say. Okay, and what are these two components? One is lung and one is heart. Okay, so one over here is lungs and other one over here is heart. What you should know in the lungs and heart, look, most common presentation in the lung, that is pleuritis. If you talk about the serositis, that is pleuritis, and in the heart that will be pericarditis. Okay, that will be most common over here. Okay, so sometimes they ask you what is the most common presentation, what is the most common serositis which is seen in the heart, what is the most common serositis can be seen in the lungs as far as SL is concerned. So over there you can answer pleuritis in the case of lungs and pericarditis in the case of heart. Fine. Okay, now let's move on to the next part, that is so first one was M for the MD SOS brain, first one was M, second D, S, we also talked about that. So now let's move on to the O part. Okay, so the fourth one is O, right? So the fourth one is O over here, and O for oral aphthous ulcers. Actually we see there are actually ulcers and these are actually painless. Usually if we are having ulcers and the patient is not suffering from SLE, then these ulcers will be painful. Okay, but in these cases what will be appreciate, so the patient will be having ulcers more than 3 times per year. Okay, so the ulcers will be there, that will be more than or equal to 3 times per year. Okay, these ulcers will be painless. Okay, usually ulcers are painful, but these will be painless. Okay, and mainly they will be involving the soft palate, mainly they will be involving soft palate. Fine, and if you want to treat these, so in the treatment part what you will be doing, right? For the normal ulcers we are giving, they are painful, we are giving the topically that is benzocaine, but over here we will be giving the topical beclomethasone. Okay, we will be giving topical beclomethasone. Okay, now please remember, if the oral aphthous ulcers, if they are seen in the oral cavity as well as in the vulva in the females, okay, or in the scrotum part in the males, that is the feature of Behçet's disease. Okay, that is a feature of Behçet disease. Okay, fine. So this is about the O part of the MD SOS brain. Next part is again S, right? MD SOS, next part is again S. So again, as for synovitis, so that is the fifth part, I guess. Yes, so that is the fifth part. So as for synovitis, now before that I told you as for serositis, now I am saying as for synovitis. Okay, so as for synovitis, okay, synovitis means this is the most common presentation of SLE. Okay, so here we will be talking about the joints. Okay, joints involvement. Which kind of joints we can talk about? For an example, so here we are going to talk about the joints. Okay, which kind of joints? That can be knee joint. Okay, knee joint. That can be proximal interphalangeal joint. Okay, that can be metacarpophalangeal joint. Okay, that can be wrist joint. Okay, so these kind of joints can be seen over there. Okay, so this is the synovitis, which means mainly the joints involvement can be seen. Okay, mainly the joints involvement can be seen, which is the synovitis. Okay, remember in the initial part of the discussion I told you there can be the rashes, there can be the joint pain, and there can be the fever involvement, all these things. Rashes, I told you malar rash and the discoid rash. Okay, joints pain I told you in the synovitis section. And now we will be moving on to the next part of our mnemonic, that will be, so here MDSOS, we already talked about that, and let's talk about the P. Okay, P part. So now P for actually photosensitivity. So now let's talk about the next one, that is P. P for photosensitivity. Photosensitivity. Okay, in the photosensitivity, actually these kind of persons are very sensitive to sunlight, and they usually have the sunburns. Okay, so first degree burns can be seen over here. Okay, so first degree burns can be seen in these patients. Okay, so their skin are very sensitive to the sun, right? And usually if you talk about the treatment, we are actually treating them with the help of they can use some kind of body lotions. Okay, but medically we are treating them with the help of hydroxychloroquine, that is an anti-malarial drug which we are using for the coronavirus also nowadays, hydroxychloroquine. Okay, fine. Next involvement is seventh one MD-SOS brain. So B, seventh one is B over here, and B for brain. Okay, B for, we are talking about brain. In the brain, what we can think of? In the brain there is involvement of CNS, right? Okay, so most commonly, okay, cognition defect is seen. Okay, most commonly there are the cognition defects. Okay, and if you are talking about the systemic lupus cerebritis, it's seen in the patient. Lupus cerebritis is seen in the patient, and due to the involvement of autoantibody. Which autoantibody I am talking about over here is, that is anti-neuronal antibody. Anti-neuronal antibody. Okay, that will be anti-neuronal antibody. Okay, in the previous part I told you about the photosensitivity, right? About the photosensitivity. Now in the photosensitivity, that is causing by also one more antibody, and over here I forgot to tell you about the antibody, but right now I am mentioning about that, that is the anti-Rho antibody. Okay, so these first degree burns, why they are happening, why the photosensitivity is happening? Due to antibody over there, and this antibody is what? This is actually anti-Rho antibody. Anti-Rho antibody. Okay, so this is this is the autoantibody. Okay, so I told you in the initial discussion part that these autoantibodies will be precipitating the immune complex deposition in the various organs. For example, this one is depositing in the skin and causing the photosensitive anti-Rho antibody. This one, anti-neural antibody, is depositing immune complexes in the brain, and they are causing the damaging in the brain. That's why cognition defect is seen. Okay, along with the cognition defect, that can be seen, psychosis can also be seen. Okay, psychosis, yes, psychosis can also be seen over here, and psychosis can be seen due to one more antibody which you can mention over here, and that antibody is ribosomal antibody. Okay, so that antibody is anti-ribosomal P antibody, anti-ribosomal P antibody. These antibodies are actually important for the examination point of view. Okay, so please remember which antibody is responsible for causing what. Fine. Okay, now our next component is, so B, then MD-SOS brain, so B and then R, right? So 8th one will be R, and R4, yes, you know that, renal. Okay, R4 will be renal component, that is a kidney, right? And in the kidney, what you can see, that is a lupus nephritis. So main component over here is gonna be lupus nephritis. Okay, so main component is gonna be lupus nephritis. Okay, in the lupus nephritis, what you can see, in the lupus nephritis mainly you can appreciate hematuria, that is the blood in the urine, RBCs in the urine can be present, hematuria, then hypertension can be seen in the patient, as there will be low GFR. So you know, RAS system will be activated then, and if the RAS system will be activated, then it will lead to increase in the blood pressure. Okay, and that's why the patient will be having hypertension. Okay, and then some kind of uremic manifestation, uremia, etc. can also be seen in the patients. Okay, that will be the later the late presentation of the patient. Okay, and for that if the kidney damage is very vast, kidney damage is so severe, then patient might be actually going for the hemodialysis, right? Okay, fine. Next component of MD-SOS brain mnemonic is BR then A, right? So next component is A, and A for autoimmune hemolytic anemia, A for autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Okay, autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Fine. Okay, so what is the problem over here? Here the problem is that in the peripheral smear, spherocyte can be seen. Okay, and mainly congestive heart failure, these kind of presentation, pedal edema can be seen in the patient. Okay, so hemolytic anemia means hemolysis is going on inside the body. Okay, why is it autoimmune? As I said, that SLE is the autoimmune disease. Okay, here also we can see some kind of autoantibody. Fine, and over here, if you talk about this one, which antibody we can see over here, this is the anti-erythrocyte antibody. Okay, so which antibody can be seen? Anti-erythrocyte antibody would be anti-erythrocyte antibody. Okay, that can be seen over here. Fine. Okay, now so what can be the characteristics over here that will be seen in the autoimmune hemolytic anemia? For example, pallor can be seen in the patient. Okay, along with that, spherocyte can be seen in the blood smear. Okay, spherocyte can be seen in the blood smear, and the RBCs. Okay, RBCs will be actually there will be no central pallor. Okay, so lack of central pallor will be seen in the patient. Fine. Investigation of choice in such cases will be actually direct Coombs test, and if you talk about the treatment in these patients, then obviously steroids can be given. Okay, which can be given, that will be steroids. Okay, now next let's move on to the next component of our mnemonic, that is BRAI, right? And I for actually immunological features. Okay, immunological features, and this part I will be including this part in diagnosis part also. Okay, because in this one I am going to talk about several kind of antibodies which are involving in the SLE. Okay, already I have mentioned about some antibodies, for example anti-neuronal, anti-ribosomal P antibody, anti-erythrocyte antibody, right? What more antibodies we can see, we'll be talking about those in the immunological feature section. Okay, Yeah, so first one I told you already about that. For example, I'm talking about anti-Rho antibody. First one over here is anti-Rho antibody. Anti-Rho antibody. Anti-Rho antibody, we have already seen that with anti-Rho antibody, I told you in the photosensitivity, right? Photosensitivity. Okay, so in the sunlight mainly, these kind of persons are having more tendency to get sunburn. Okay, so anti-Rho antibody is responsible for that part. Okay, one more thing, it is also responsible for the neonatal lupus. It is also responsible for neonatal lupus because it can cause heart block. Okay, so what happens is that transplacental spread can be there from the mother. If the mother is having SLE, these kind of anti-Rho antibody can actually can enter into the baby with the help of through the placenta. Okay, so this antibody will be causing the heart block. Complete heart block may appear. Complete heart block may happen. Complete heart block may happen in the fetus. Okay, and due to that the fetus may die. Okay, the baby may die. So neonatal lupus can also be there. Okay, next antibody which I'm going to talk over here, that is anti-cardiolipin antibody. Anti-cardiolipin antibody. Okay, which can precipitate false VDRL test that we do for the syphilis, right? So it can actually show the false VDRL test, okay, that we see for syphilis. Third one, that is anti-beta-2 glycoprotein. Anti-beta-2 glycoprotein antibody. Okay, and this one is for the recurrent abortions. Okay, recurrent abortions can be there. Okay, so SLE is quite bigger one, like it is a rheumatological problem, it is autoantibody problem, autoimmune disease. It is most bigger one. It can affect pregnant ladies, it can affect the normal human being, and it can affect several other organs due to various kind of antibodies, and they will be precipitating the immune complex formation, and they will be damaging the several multiple organs. Okay, for example, photosensitivity, I told you, the skin problem, anti-cardiolipin, and anti-cardiolipin is for syphilis, right? Like it can give the syphilis effect. Beta-2 glycoprotein, recurrent abortions are there. Next one, anti-Smith antibody. Okay, next one can be anti-Smith antibody. Anti-Smith antibody is actually very specific for the diagnosis of SLE. So it is the most specific antibody, most specific antibody for SLE. Most specific antibody for SLE. Okay, next one is double-stranded DNA antibody. Okay, double-stranded DNA antibody, and it tells you about the progression of this SLE. Okay, it tells you about progression of this disease. Okay, so it monitors the progression of SLE. Monitor the progression of SLE. Fine. Next one we are having, that is anti-Stone antibody. Anti-Stone antibody. Okay, I'm mentioning about so many antibodies in the diagnosis section because look, examiners are actually focusing on these antibodies, and they are actually targeting you in the antibody section as far as SLE is concerned. Okay, that's why the antibodies are very important for the examination point of view. So anti-Stone antibodies, they are for the drug-induced lupus. You must have heard about that, drug-induced lupus. Yes, so some drugs actually can precipitate the symptoms of SLE. Okay, and what are these drugs? You should remember them. You can remember them easily by the help of a mnemonic, and that is actually SHIP. Yes, SHIP, SHIP. Okay, so what is this SHIP actually? As for over here, that will be sulfa drugs. Okay, as for sulfa drugs, sulfonamides. Okay, H for hydralazine. Okay, hydralazine, that can be arterial dilator or venodilator, that can be actually included in the antihypertensive category. I for isoniazid, that is antitubercular agent, right, antituberculosis. And P for procainamide, that can be procainamide, that is actually antiarrhythmic agent, right. So this is these four you can remember actually, which can alleviate the symptoms of SLE. Okay, so this is the antibody which is responsible for causing the drug induced lupus. Okay, drug induced lupus, please remember, lupus nephritis and lupus cerebritis is not seen. Okay, so with this one, lupus nephritis and cerebritis is not seen. Nephritis and cerebritis, okay, this is not seen with the drug induced lupus. Okay, that is also the question which has been asked already. Now the next antibody, which is anti-neuronal antibody. Anti-neuronal antibody is actually, we have already talked about that was causing the lupus cerebritis, right. So that is responsible for causing lupus cerebritis. I told you about psychosis also, that was ribosomal P antibody. So here I am talking about antineural antibody that is causing the lupus cerebritis. Okay, and next antibody which we mention about SLE, that will be anti-erythrocyte antibody. Okay, anti-erythrocyte antibody, we have already talked about that as well. Okay, that is the anti-erythrocyte antibody. Fine, and that will be seen in the autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Okay, autoimmune hemolytic anemia. And the last antibody, so which we can remember over here, so I told you MD solves brain mnemonic, right, and the last part, that is N for, so we have talked about the 10th one was I, so brain. N for yes, N for anti-neuronal antibody. Anti-neuronal antibody, and that is actually very sensitive. Okay, so this is the most sensitive antibody. This is the most sensitive antibody. Fine. Okay, so that is about the immunological features. That can be about the diagnosis part. So several kind of antibodies are responsible for causing the precipitation of immune complex in several multiple organs, right, in several visceral organs. Okay, and they can cause a damage over there accordingly. Okay, and lastly I will recommend you to please remember about the treatment as well. So about the treatment part, right, for the treatment part, you can remember the drug which I have mentioned already in this discussion, that was hydroxychloroquine. Okay, so please remember about the hydroxychloroquine, which is an anti-malarial agent, hydroxychloroquine. And along with that, steroids can also be given, and steroids can also be given in the pregnant ladies also. Okay, so that is not contraindicated. So steroids and hydroxychloroquine, these two drugs can be given as far as SLE is concerned. So now let's talk about the MCQ section. So look at this MCQ. A 26-year-old woman presents to the dermatology clinic for fatigue, weakness, fever for the past month, reports significant weight loss despite eating a normal diet. She reports that she sunburns, okay, sunburns very easily, and has a facial rash that is hard to cover and with makeup. On physical exam, she has a butterfly rash with nasolabial sparing on her face. Okay, so I told you that thing. So look at this rash over here. I told you in the image section already. So you can see this kind of rash which is actually appreciated in SLE. Okay, this is a butterfly rash. Further, she is saying several discoid lesions on her fingers. I told you that there can be the damage of the sebaceous gland which can lead to the discoid lesions. Okay, I told you, I explained you with the help of image also. Erythematous rash on her chest and a V-neck distribution is also seen, and highly positive anti-nuclear antibody, which is one of the most sensitive for these SLE, and positive anti-double stranded DNA antibody, which tells you about the progression of this SLE. Okay, so what are the diagnosis over here? Diagnosis will be very clear in your mind. That will be systemic lupus erythematosus. Okay, no doubt about that. So this is the case of SLE. Fine, let's move on to the next question. Next question, they are saying that 46-year-old female African American woman with a history of SLE and present with increased fatigue, arthralgia, rash, hematuria. She reports that she had previously been on hydroxychloroquine. I told you this can be the drug which we are using for the SLE, right? With success. Okay, but had not been seen a physician in 5 years. Physical examination shows a malar rash on her face. Okay, and lab examination shows highly positive anti-nuclear, anti-double stranded DNA antibody, anti-Smith antibody. Okay, which is the most specific. Now anti-double stranded DNA antibody, I told you, which tells you about the this actually monitors the progression of the SLE. Positive anti-nuclear antibody, which is the most sensitive antibody for the SLE. She has low complement levels and she restarted on hydroxychloroquine and steroids, which is actually the treatment part for the SLE. So again, what is the diagnosis over here? Yes, diagnosis will be SLE for this one as well. Okay, so this is the recurrent SLE which is seen in this woman. Okay, fine. So that was about the discussion of the SLE, okay, or systemic lupus erythematosus. I hope you like the video. Please share it among your friends, and if you like the video, please hit the like button. Please make sure to subscribe my channel, and please stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much.